Okay, guys, so we did not finish yesterday, so here we are with Hybrid A, second period. They're my little guinea pigs. They're going to help me film this with you guys, for you guys, not, with you guys, because obviously you're not in the building right now. So, this one is a unique one. So, 7 and 8 are solved a little bit differently, and because usually we don't start off with multiplication. But do you see how 8m minus 7 is over the 5? So it's a fraction. So what we need to do is get rid of that fraction first. And in order to get rid of the fraction, we're going to multiply everything by 5. So I'm going to rewrite the equation for this step just to show you what I mean by that, okay? And where I got the 5 from is from the denominator. And these cancel out. And then I'm left with 8m minus 7 equals negative 55. Now it becomes that two-step equation that we were used to yesterday, where we can do what?
Add 7.
Yes, because we're subtracting 7 already, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. Yeah. 48. Yeah, so then it would be 8m equals negative 48, because negative 57 plus 7 gives you negative 48. And then we're going to divide by on both sides, because you're always trying to isolate the variable, so you're trying to get everything away from the variable that you can. And remember, these are called multiplicative inverses, and then negative 48 divided by 8 is negative 6. Okay, so because that one was everything was over 5, that's why we started with the 5, okay? That makes a big difference, because in number 8, now is everything over the negative 12? No. So now we're just going to start with the 7. So in order to start with the 7, we would subtract. So the difference between 7 and 8 is where the fraction is. Okay, so these cancel out because they're additive inverses, and we're left with e over negative 12 equals 3 minus 7 would be negative 4. Now we're going to multiply by what?
12.
Not just 12. Yes. Now we can multiply by negative 12.
Why wouldn't you change it?
Why wouldn't I change what?
It's already negative 12. Why would you not change it to 12? Oh, because you're adding or subtraction.
Right, because you won't, if you don't multiply by negative 12, then the e would end up being negative, and you want the e to be positive. So whatever you have on the bottom, or if you have a negative, you multiply it by everything. So these cancel out, and then you're left with e equals 48. So again, the biggest difference that I want you to see is that this problem is all over 5, so we have to get rid of the 5 first. This one, just the variables over the number, so we just do it like a normal equation. You add or subtract first, and then you multiply or divide. Okay. Now, I know you guys, not everyone likes word problems, but the FSA, there's a lot of words on the FSA. And a lot of times what they want to do is, all they want you to do is set up an equation, and then they have you, sometimes they'll have you solve it, sometimes all they want you to do is read the problem and see if you can set up an equation. So we're going to do both though. We're going to set up the equation and solve it. So Angela rented a car for $29.99 a day plus a one-time insurance cost for $5. Her bill was $124.96. For how many days did she rent the car? Okay, so what should our variable be? So what is it asking? For how many days, right? So we're looking for days. So we're going to use D, and we're going to say that equals days. You guys, anytime you start with a word problem, define what you're looking for. That's because that's your variable, right? What am I looking for? Give it a letter. I always try to use a letter that starts with the first word that first letter of the word I'm looking for. Okay, so we don't know how many days. That's basically it. That's why we gave it a variable. But we do know how much it costs per day. How much did it cost per day?
$29.99.
So it costs $29.99 a day. So $29.99 D. Because if you rented it for one day, it's $29.99. You rented it for 2 days, it'd be 2 times $29.99. Yeah, I would round it up as well. Okay, but
I just give them the extra cent.
then it tells you, right? Plus a one-time insurance cost. How much was the insurance cost? And her bill was $124.96. So that's the first thing. You get a point if you can set up the equation. Okay? Now, what do you think they want us to do?
Solve it.
Solve it. So you want to set up an equation, and they want you to solve it. So how would I start this problem? Subtract $5. Now, because it's $5, you guys, I'm actually going to write it on this side as $5. Because it's money. It's all money. What is that? $119 and 96 cents. $119.96. And now what do we do? So what type of problem? What does this mean? A number in front of a letter. Oh, I'm sorry. That means they can't see it. Okay. So now what am I going to do here? It's already being multiplied, so we are going to divide. And you should have gotten 4. So how many days did Angela rent the car for?
4 days.
She rented it for 4 days. So you have to be able to set up an equation, and then you need to be able to solve it. A lot of times, so there's 2 parts of the FSA, and there's 2 parts of your semester exam. There's a no calculator part and a calculator part. A lot of times on the no calculator part, what they'll do is they'll give you a problem like this, and they'll just ask you to set up the equation. They don't care about solving it. They just want to see if you can read the problem and apply what you've learned. Okay? Okay, guys. We are done. So now we're going to do our assignment. So you at home, make sure you have your workbook. Everyone should have a workbook now. Okay. Hey, Hybrid Bees, have a great day. I'll see you Thursday.